Hello, this is Carla again. I promised a lot of people that had watched my previous video from a couple days ago, the annual planning video for child-led learners, that I would do a part two to this video. I felt like after I did that video that I had left some things out or that it was a little incomplete, and so I wanted to do um, a part two to that video that explains a little bit more about our annual goal cards and how we come up with those annual goals, what that looks like. And so I'm going to attempt to do that to show you this on paper. But what I'll also do is give you the opportunity to, I can send you the link to that. What I'll do is I'll put the link in the comment section if you want to look at it. Doesn't mean you have to use it exactly, but it's kind of like a roadmap if you were interested in doing something similar. And then I'll also place it on our Facebook page, the actual link to the form that we use to create our annual goal cards for our child-led learners. So let's get started. It's kind of like a questionnaire. Hopefully you can see that, but I'm going to read it to you. It's our annual goal card, I guess you can say, the form that we use to prepare to create the goal cards for each year. Again, we do not do a traditional monthly or weekly planning as far as curriculum and things of that nature. So I wanted to show you exactly how we do that. If you haven't watched the first video, I suggest that you watch that because there's a lot of good nuggets and information in that video. And then this is just a follow-up to that. So this will make more sense once you've watched that one first. But this is our annual goal card questionnaire. And I talked about on the first video, well, first, obviously it has the name and the calendar year because we are, I guess you can say year-round. A lot of people are year-round homeschoolers, but we don't really go on any particular schedule at all. We just kind of learn all day, every day in several different ways. But the calendar year in which we made this particular goal card for. So that's what year that would be. Current passions, interests, and projects. And so basically, that particular section is an example of what they are currently pursuing, interested in, and working on. And so those things would carry over from whatever the previous year is. And then new interest topics. You can see right there. And as mentioned in the other video, things that they have mentioned, new ideas, interests, things, classes they may want to take, all different kinds of things that they are starting to become interested in, so that we can fold in current projects, current interests, and then new things that they want to pursue in the coming year. And then the third one, and again, we are not radical unschoolers, so there are some things that we do that may be slightly different. But the third section is the non-negotiables section. This is the section where mom and dad decide what, even if they're going to follow a child-led learning lifestyle or way of operating in their home, that there are still non-negotiables that they may feel their children need. And that may be different for every family depending upon what your overall goals are. We have 6 children with a vast amount of skill and knowledge and talent and direction. And so because of that, we have to have certain things that everyone focuses on, and then they're able to spend the rest of their days doing what it is that they're passionate about. Our non-negotiables, as an example, are living math, not just math in general, but a life application math, which is what we use, as I've mentioned several times. We use more life when it comes to applying math and cooking and in the kitchen and using learning math through literature than we do anything else, especially for, I'd say, ages 11 and below. When we get above that, it depends on what direction they're leaning towards as far as a career, what we decide to do after that, as far as middle school and beyond. So that's going to be different for every single child. That's why we love the term child-led learning, because it is just that. You may have one child that is a complete unschooler. You may have another child that needs a little bit more direction. Maybe they want to be a doctor, and you know that there are certain things that they're going to have to know and have in order to pursue that career. Well, again, that's child-led learning. It's individual. It's not one size fits all or, kind of situation. It is specific to that child. It is child-led. But this particular section for us, so we expose all our children to math. The way in which we do that can be different for each child. And then we have reading and writing, which, is pretty much human, needed for human existence. But the next section, the fourth section, you will see it says non-negotiable integration. And basically what that means is, how am I going to stick to a very free, independent learning, child-led format in my home across the board and still integrate those non-negotiable items? And so for us, again, math can be different for every single child. The way that we do it for younger children under the age of 11 or 12 is all life application. And then beyond that depends upon the child. So, the jury is out as far as how, who will need higher levels of math and what direction we will take with that. They'll probably all go, pretty high, but what direction and how we expose them to that may be different. Now, as far as reading and writing, how will we integrate reading and writing into the things that they're passionate about and interested in? And as far as that is concerned, we make sure that everything that the projects they're currently doing, the things they're currently passionate about, the things that are of interest, we find resources, so writing opportunities and plenty of reading material on those topics. And so we have no problem integrating reading and writing in anyone's life. So those are pretty easy to integrate into any child and into any passion. So basically in that section, you would put, how are you going to integrate those non-negotiables? Then the last section, this is where you would collect lists of classes that you've heard about. It may be in your community or online, books, field trips, websites that will be helpful as far as the different things that they're interested in. You would collect that information here. And so this is what you would use to ultimately formulate your annual goal list. Okay, and so basically these goals are made up of all the info you collected from the above section. And basically what we do after we go through that first form that I just showed you, then we formulate what those annual goals will be. And then then I laminate it. It usually ends up being a half of a card. I laminate it and I hand that to the child. And then that is their roadmap basically for that year. Now, obviously things can change and they may transition. They may decide they don't want to pursue something. They may change their mind on a class or whatever the case is. But overall, they have a map. So they know how to plan their days. They know activities. They know the websites. They know all of the information that they need to go after that type of that topic or that subject or whatever it is that they're pursuing. So that kind of helps them with the roadmap and helps them independently pursue those things with very, very little help. And obviously, I am all over the place all day helping everyone in the areas in which they need questions answered, they need more research, they need more resources, whatever it is. I am a hunter and gatherer, and I'm constantly doing that on a daily basis to fill up this section even more. This section as far as the resources that we give to them. So I hope that was very helpful to you. I hope that that you found both of these videos to be a blessing, and that maybe they kind of gave you a little bit more perspective as far as how we do it, and maybe how it could work for you. But that's how we do our annual goal cards. We use this form to answer the questions. Then we laminate a half card with the list of goals for the year that show basically a roadmap of what their year is going to look like and what they need to be filling their time doing. So pretty much. And then obviously they do lots of other things outside of what's on that goal card, because they have a lot of independence and a lot of room to choose what those things are. And even if it's not on that list, to learn new things as well. So hope this was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I, again, will leave the link to this particular form. It's not a fancy form, something very simple, but just kind of gives you an idea of how we do it. I'll leave a link to that in the comment section so that you can download it or copy it or tweak it to make it what you want it to be. And those sections can be as long or as short, as simple or as complex as you need them to be for your purposes. But again, thank you. Hope this was helpful. You have a great day.